Okay, let's talk Conjuring. We're gonna rank the whole universe. Dead last at number 10 is Annabelle. This movie tries way too hard to copy the Conjuring formula, but without James Wan's direction or that same sharp storytelling. It leans on cheap jump scares, the acting is flat, and it never manages to carve out its own identity. It's definitely a weak start for the spinoffs. Number 9 is The Curse of La Llorona. I'll give Linda Cardellini credit. She does her best to carry this film, but everything else just feels very uninspired. It's packed with recycled scares and nothing that makes it stand out. It's very forgettable at best. At number 8 is The Nun. This one is interesting visually. The gothic locations and atmosphere are strong, but the story is painfully thin. It's slow, it drags, and while there's a few standout moments, including one memorable death scene, it's just not enough to save this movie. At number 7 is The Devil Made Me Do It. I really appreciate that it tried something new with the courtroom angle, but the execution just didn't quite work for me. What does work, though, are the emotional arcs for Ed and Lorraine. Their chemistry really carries this film, as always, even when the plot doesn't. At number 6 is Last Rites. As a send-off for Ed and Lorraine, I think this does its job. There's some really strong moments and plenty of atmosphere in this movie, but the plot is very convoluted and you can just really feel the series starting to run out of steam. I think it's probably a good decision they ended things here. Number 5 is Annabelle Comes Home. I actually like this one quite a bit. McKenna Grace is fantastic. The group of teens really feels relatable, and the haunted house setup works really well. It's basically a monster mash of cursed artifacts coming to life, and while the creatures don't have much backstory, that mystery actually makes them kind of scarier. At number 4 is The Nun 2. I think this was a huge step up from the first movie. The story is more engaging, the acting is much stronger, and the main demon actually feels threatening again. It doesn't really reinvent the wheel, but it delivers the scares and atmosphere that the original Nun should have had. At number 3 is Annabelle Creation. This one really surprised me. It's not just better than the first Annabelle, it's really one of the strongest spin-offs in the franchise. You got the backstory of the doll, it really adds some emotional weight, the characters are very well developed, and the scares are genuinely chilling. I mean, it's really good. I think it's easily the standout of the Annabelle trilogy. At number 2 is the original Conjuring. I think James Wan brought a fresh energy to the haunted house genre, and this film hits every note absolutely perfectly. The cinematography, the camera work, the atmosphere, everything feels deliberate and expertly crafted. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga embody Ed and Lorraine Warren so well that they really became the heart of this franchise. I truly think this is a modern horror classic that everybody should see. And at number 1 is The Conjuring 2. I really go back and forth between this one and the first film because they're both insanely good, but right now this one takes the top spot. The main demon is one of the most terrifying things in modern horror, and the scares are very inventive, very relentless, and the family at the center of the story feels real and engaging. James Wan's visual style is at its peak here, from the cinematography to the atmosphere. This one just feels bigger, scary, and way more confident than almost anything else in the series.